see digital, baby. Digital deceiver shadows live in the mix. White socks. We don't chase clout, we chase truth. Now let's go.
Okay, I put headphones on. How do I sound now? I sound okay? Okay. All right. Let's leave it like that. Okay. Goodness gracious. I took all the time to just talk. Just figuring that out. I apologize, guys. You know, I'm way more organized than this. All right. Let's see. But before I do that, let me just say I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I canceled the Digital After Dark because Top Four Ways was doing a live that was going to be very similar to mine. And instead of dividing the community and trying to have like a competing live on the exact same person, I thought that that was not the smartest thing to do. I wanted to make sure that the entire community could enjoy. So I chose to do it that way. But we'll have one. Don't worry. And we all know that I'm not going to stay off of her neck. And I saw where there's supposed to be a revealing live. I don't know where, but on June 3rd, where River talks about her experience. So, yeah, that should be interesting. Let's see. The calendar for July will be out soon. I know we have a holiday in this month. Yeah, that's what it said. It said July 3rd, but I'm not sure. Well, Captain, that's what a lot of them do. Then they build their own platforms. Good morning, Colleen. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Let's get to the grid because that's what y'all came for. This is the grid for today. We're going to talk about Lala, Martavia, Timothy, Josh and Ida. Karla returned, and I wanted to go through that with you carefully so that you guys can understand the level of manipulation. We're going to talk about Daniel because don't do not do what you did to me and expect me not to talk about you. And you can have whatever conniption fit you want. But when all I do is say hello and you completely lose it, that's on you, not me. And then I'm going to talk about Stephanie. And if you can't see anything, either swipe to the right or you can hold the screen and it'll say clear display and you can see. But you'll see her picture later on. Zim did more than lose it. I have some thoughts about some things I've been watching. And then obviously Zim. Now there's some other people I may bring up here depending on time. But I'm going to also ask that if there is something that I've missed, like I didn't watch Zim all of yesterday. I did bits and pieces of her. But I just saw a video, I think it was by Calling, of her deciding to discuss political things now that she's not getting government handouts like she was before. And now she has all of these radical ideas. Girl, just get a job. Like, I don't understand why they can't start at the basics. I don't, it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. that they like, you know how we used to hear them talk about how they were entitled and blah 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 and they expect government assistance. My thing is this: government assistance is there, and if you qualify for it, get it. But you see people who are using it as a step up and those who expect to be able to use it for the rest of their lives. There's a huge difference. And she claimed she had all these jobs. You were a child when you had them. You haven't had any real jobs since you've been an adult. And don't get me wrong, being a parent is a full time 24/7, 365, even on the leap year job. So I am not discounting that. But now you don't even have that to do. Thank you, Granny Annie and Sandy. And I appreciate everybody's daily heart me. Hey, Cat Daddy, how are you? Okay, who do I want to start with? I'm gonna start with him and get him out the way. I just decided to do the screenshot that I took of his whatever. These are what pop up when you search his name. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna pick one. Never mind. He's not even worth me picking one. Okay, hold on. Mavis K, are you requesting the box? Guys, if you're requesting the box, put a box, like an image of a box, or type the word. Now, do me a favor. I should do that. Type in the, I mean, tap in the center of the screen. Don't tap on expose. Oh, let me just say this and I might get back to it later. I might use the expose account to tell y'all some of the stories of my life because the idea of creating another account is team too much. But I just want to get that out there. I know, right, Shasky? He's probably still live or waiting for this. So I have been getting word that Daniel was back to dry begging. Um, and he's been doing that a very, very long time. And even when I started watching him, he would dry beg. One incident in particular is when he had gotten a ticket, he didn't realize it, he didn't show up for the court date, and it escalated from there. And before even knowing what the outcome was going to be, he was telling them that if he has to pay like a certain amount of money, he couldn't do it. So he was going to tell jail time. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. He was going to take jail time so that if people didn't see him, and we were talking like a month away, right? Why are you being dramatic? And let's be clear, he didn't go to jail, not for 30 seconds. But that's the kind of stuff he does. He makes normal life circumstances to explode. So because he didn't take care of it initially, and it does sound like there was a problem on the police officer side in the courthouse. So I'm not blaming him for it escalating. But they suspended his license, which then meant he couldn't do DoorDash. That was messed up. But why are you suggesting to people that you're going to go to jail? He also utilizes his family and his daughter in particular to constantly discuss, again, for years now, to discuss that his daughter is coming to live with him. and he's going to need a bigger place, and he's going to need more money, etc., etc. Daughter hasn't shown up the first. Daughter hasn't shown up the first. He always tells people what's gonna happen, or oh, she's finally realizing that her grandparents are such and such. Why did you leave her to begin with? You put your life and the success of your life over being a parent, and you haven't looked back. But you have these parasocial relationships where people are so tied in to your success because you are constantly adding in a new dry bag, a new issue, a new problem that they have to worry about you instead of worrying about themselves. I've watched you, and this is like one of the more popular videos that have gone around about him, where you told somebody that gave you money for a performance that you were tired and you had a headache and you needed to lay down just to turn around and go in somebody else's life and stay like another hour and thoroughly enjoy yourself. That's shady. You'll go from singing and damn near dancing in the chair and having a good time to you have a massive migraine and you don't have any medicine to take and you don't know what it is you're going to do. Oh, and so this other day it was about the vet bill. It was about the vet bill. Something happened with his cat. Mind you, he distinguishes between his cat and his daughter's cat. He's like, especially because it's my cat. And then, of course, he realized that that probably didn't sound right. He was like, well, I do the same. So he's already gotten the doctor to waive like the office fee and the testing, I believe, but the treatment, and mind you, he doesn't even know what's wrong yet. And he's like, I can't afford it. And people were talking about like the financing. And of course, no finance company is going to pick him up. Hold on. I'm dealing with my restriction. So, of course, nobody's going to pick him up. And every suggestion, other than any suggestion about money directly, was pew pew. Like, nope, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. But this is good morning. Thank you, Mom. Oh wait, I missed who it was. I'm sorry. Oh, Sandy, thank you so much and good morning. Why is your every like again, if you're there to entertain, right? And people choose to gift you, and we're gonna talk about this more extensively late, well, probably next, then just let that be. Let that be. Let people reward you for what it is that you do, your content. That's being a content creator. Begging and dry begging for your basic bills that you would have to pay regardless is not your audience's responsibility. Thank you, Rachel. Sorry, I had to look. You look like another Rachel. So as long as that's what you're gonna do, how does he say it? I'm standing on his neck. Well, if that's how you feel. So this is what happened the other day. You guys all know when you open TikTok, it drops you anywhere. Sometimes it's a commercial. Sometimes it's a, oh, thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate that. It'll drop you in a live. It'll drop you in like somebody selling something. It dropped me in his account. And sometimes I feel like I can swipe out, and sometimes I feel like I can't. Oh, thank you, Lumpy Pillow. So I said good morning. No, I said hello, host and chat. That's what I do now. Yep, and scripted media. Well, no, she was actually asking for $100. She might have got down to 40, but she was asking for $100. So I'm talking about J. Paul. J. Paul was asking for $100 yesterday. So he immediately calls me an asshole. Okay, fair enough. I haven't talked about you and I don't know how long. Next thing I know is MFers and I need him to do content. I think I've proven enough that I don't need any one of these individuals. And if I never did another anti scam live, I could go live about a million and one things. But why is it that every single one of them want us to stop so that they can get money out of other people, but they don't see anything wrong with not changing the circumstances of their own life to no longer needing to beg? I don't understand that. She'll be back on begging today. Because if that was supposed to be yet for yesterday, I'm sorry, y'all. I just saw the comment about Jordan Paul. If she was begging yesterday for the $100, because when she came on at 10:30 and said she needed it by 11. Of course, it was 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and she was still begging for the same $100. What is she gonna do with today? Correct, unscripted media. Thank you, Sandy. They want us to stop so they can keep going. It's not like stop because I've gone on with my life. I'm no longer begging. It's stop so I can keep getting money. And then, of course, he accused me of being in that some other group gave him to me. I promise you they did it. I scroll all the time, just scrolling. Now, some people have heard of me and I get blocked immediately, and um, other times people do tell me, or it's in the Discord. There's a new person. I'll get I get so many suggestions to go in lives. For some people, I literally just find on my own. I have like I've said this before, but I have people in the pipeline that I haven't even talked about yet because I need to observe the actions myself. No one can just tell me somebody's a scammer and I go off with their word. Correct, Ephemere, or is it Mir? Thank you, Christy. Thank you for everyone who sent a heart me this morning. I have to see it for myself. And when I see it for myself and you've hit five of the red flags, boom, you're on the grid. And I'm going to say it again, loud and clear. Blocking me doesn't matter. It's symbolic. It makes you feel better, but it's not going to change a single thing. It's not going to change a single thing. I don't want you off the app. I don't care if you're here. And they're like, well, if you don't like what we do, stop watching. I don't like what you do, and I want to warn more people not to be taken advantage. You want me to stop? Stop begging. Stop dry begging. Stop demanding gifts. Stop putting your life up and downs on other people. It's manipulative. You want them to care more about you than they do their own financial health. I watched I'm calling her Hem Doll because that's her entire personality. Um Rose just earlier, and she literally finds something to complain about every single day, even when she has been granted a blessing of sorts. She's in this hotel that has a full kitchen, and she's talked to the gentleman, and he's gonna let her stay, and she's gonna pay for another week so that she's stable right now. Could she go and figure out the parts of her life that aren't together? Of course. But is she? No. She knows she had 2 weeks there. And so what happened? All she did was complain last night. Oh, I'm sorry I came on late. You won't believe it, but the light fell out of the ceiling and it scared me and Hemdall. And then I had to go all the way to the office because the phone doesn't work and they don't man the desk 24 hours. And then there was somebody standing outside that couldn't get in. Can you believe that? And I finally got them, so somebody's gonna call in the morning, and she has her hand on her head like she just had the worst night ever. Why don't people realize that that is to manipulate you into believing that her life is terrible? How can it be? She's inside, comfortable with AC, her own bathroom, which is a major priority for her. The dog is safe. Mind you, she got the dog on countertops. It's late at night and she's throwing the ball around the room. Now, if she's on the bottom, cool. But if you're upstairs, what? Absolutely no consideration for anybody else. Absolutely no consideration for anybody else. But they want your money. Listen, I came in. I shouldn't say I came in. I was dropped in your live because you happened to be live. I happened to be awake at the time. I didn't go in. I wasn't rude. I wasn't nasty. I said hello. And had he said hello back, I might have just left. But when you're sticking up your middle fingers at me, you're crashing out the whole shebang. Now I'm going to stay. And he, whatever he said about me, I was like, do you think your opinion of me matters? And he's like, well, we agree on that. So then why are you crashing out? If my opinion of you doesn't matter, it holds zero weight. Oh, and then he, of course, blames y'all. It was either me or my minions, which I don't have any of. Oh, well, here he is. We knew he would be here. Baby, if you think this is crashing out, you haven't heard me upset. This is how I talk every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Get over yourself. We knew what. And then he was like, "Cause somebody just, where are my mods? Why isn't she blocked? Block me yourself. Block me yourself." This is funny. Why should I let you on my platform when you blocked me on yours? Like, let's be serious. Stop manipulating your audience. They don't need to know your every move left and right, especially when it's financial. Just do your entertainment. And if your entertainment isn't enough, get a job. You have a job, that's not enough, get another one. He's not getting a box. Be serious. So why are you in mine? If I can't be in yours, why are you in mine? I don't care about, there's only certain people that I block. But you are of zero matter. Zero. My whole goal is to get people to stop taking care of you. You're a grown man. You've had children. It's time to stand on your own one too. And as long as you're dry begging, as long as you're making your daily expenses other people's problems, expect to be on the grid. You tried once and sucked at acting. Huh? That's your bag. That's not mine. I've never claimed to be an actress. What is wrong with you? Don't worry about him being respectful. He doesn't know what that is. Okay, Daniel. And so what? I claimed I was an actress? Oh boy. Anyway, y'all, you see that all he cares about is being able to do what he does on his platform. That's it, that's all. That always, that's all that matters. He doesn't care about doing it on his own. Not at all. And one of my biggest problems was that instead of getting a job that could cover his expenses, having a job is one thing. Having a job that covers your expenses is something else. He needed to leave room for acting. Your bills are nobody else's concern or problem. You have a hoe? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do have a hoe. Go enjoy that. Go enjoy your hoe. Talking about let's go. Be serious. So you can get up in here and curse me out like you did before. You're a child. No, you act like a child. So then why are your bills other people's problems? Believe me, baby, far from a child. What's so funny is it's okay for you to not like what I do, but I can't like what you do. That's wrong. Anyway, let's move along. He was just one. We knew he was going to be in here. Why don't you block me and keep me blocked? People have requested the box. Make sure you put a box in the chat if that's the case. I'm just going to assume that you hit the wrong thing. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for blocking me. You can go now. Let's see. She isn't on the list, and I'm not even sure if this is her name right now. But I just wanted to, y'all don't talk about Daniel anymore. We have moved past him now. Thank you, though. I appreciate it because I want people to know that it's not just me. I'm not bringing you up because you got the opportunity to come up and you acted like a fool. A, B, you won't let me come up in your live. You blocked me. So go away. Oh, thank you, Princess. Appreciate it. Yes, please tap, tap, tap because of the new photo. Let me just say this. Kevin, if you love him, go over there and tell him you love him. We don't care. Have a good time with him. So, Princess is another one. I'm not Princess, Peaches is another one. Oh, they're all coming back. They are all coming back. So she's doing the exact same thing where they were given an apartment, it was roach infested. There is a way to deal with that with the state. It's not easy, it's not comfortable, but you were given housing that would have allowed you your social security check and his social security check to manage your entire life. And instead of following procedure, you did what you wanted to do. So, first of all, the house wasn't even ready. They moved in anyway. They got there, all was good. And see, this is also part of the problem. When all was good, we didn't see Peaches. We didn't see her at all. Wait, what happened with Kevin? Oh, was he just being facetious? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Kevin, I'm sorry. But he usually comes in here with people who are busy defending him. And so when I see it and I see you say you love him, I'm assuming you're a sycophant. I apologize. Child, we are quick with it. Good morning. Good morning for everybody who's come in. Please like the live, share the live, hit your daily heart me. I appreciate it. It's all love. Um, when she's up, you don't hear from her. So that means you know when she shows up. It's just like Jordan Paul. Jordan Paul's like, I just come on and say hi. When? When do you come on and just say hi and talk to people? But Peaches does like a pre-issue. Oh, we're out in the car and it's so hot and I'm not putting any more money in the car. The car needs this and there's no air conditioning and blah blah blah. Wait, you know what? Hold on. If I'm gonna have the restriction, I'm gonna have the restriction. Like, why play the game? Anyway, so she did that first, showing the dog. Now, my thing is this: why can't, and I don't know about South Carolina, Florida is very dog friendly, but if you're hot, imagine the dog. And the best thing you can do is come on TikTok. And of course, next thing I know, they're in a hotel. Did they pay for it themselves? Because if they did, why are you on TikTok? You don't come on TikTok when you don't need anything. But then further, she's laying in the bed in the hotel room. It's like a half hour to check out, and she's like, I really hope I don't have to get out the bed. Is that, oh, South Carolina is dog friendly. Who's proud? What did y'all do with the Social Security check? And again, they claim that the dog is his emotional support dog, right? Which prevents them from having to pay like the fees. But they couldn't find the paperwork. Or did you think you were just going to get away with just saying that? And that after a week they wouldn't worry about it anymore? Do you see what I mean? They expect to do whatever they want and face zero consequences. And then when they do face consequences, it's like the whole world is against them. And one last thing, if they tell us something is expensive one more time, my head is going to blow off. What do you mean? What do you mean your head is going to blow off? I mean, what do you mean it's expensive? Do you think that gas is less expensive for us? That food is less expensive for us, that there are those of us who may have had to rob Peter to pay Paul or go less places so that our gas lasts longer. Now, this is the other thing. Even for those who are wealthy, where no matter how much it costs, we can pay it. You think they don't recognize that things are more expensive? You say that to your chat as if they aren't living the exact same experience. Good morning, Maya Angelou. Are we not with the same experience? So when I hear people talk about, oh, and gas is so expensive, and we know, we know, but you guys chose this life. You chose to have no housing. And there's always somebody promised them something. Oh, but we were promised a trailer, and when we got there, it had roaches. And so then somebody else promised us a trailer, and we drove 3 hours away, and it looks condemned. And woe is you. You haven't learned to ask for a photo first? That you literally packed up your entire life, and she's like, I'm in South Kakalaki. Venice, I'm in Alabama. Oh, no, we're in Ohio right now. But, oh, no, we're back in South Kakalaki. How do you expect to keep a car that is clearly in poor condition working if you are driving it state to state? Now, going to see his mother is absolutely worth every single dime. I don't know if she passed or not, but if she did, rest in peace. There is nothing like losing a mother. But she complained about that too. Upset that the dog was going to want to sit in her lap in the front seat. And I literally was screaming, then sit in the back. You have the whole entire back seat. You can stretch out. You can even put your legs up so they're not swelling. And when somebody finally said it to her, she was like, oh, I never thought of that. What are you thinking then? Like, how is it? And I don't know if they're playing dumb, if they're actually dumb, and I don't mean that in like I'm teasing them way. I legitimately don't understand how they don't have any sense whatsoever. It never occurred to you to sit in the back seat. And I can understand sometimes that there's nobody in the front seat and whatever the case, but if the dog requires that and it affects your health negatively, it never occurred to her. And then people sit there and actually believe it never occurred to her. Or, and more importantly, it never occurred to him either. When are people gonna wake up and realize that all of this being transparent is a way to get you to give them money? Listen, we all know how I feel about my kids. Thank you for the daily heart me. I appreciate it. Now, let's go where we know we're going. So, the other day, while they were live streaming, they put, let me see if I have the photo. I didn't make it small. Oh, it's in the comments. It says, I'm trying to keep my car. We can use the help. It's 530. And then I think it's like send gifts if you can. That's them saying it again. First of all, their car doesn't cost $530. For the last 2 months, it's been 331, if I'm not mistaken. But five, I know she was. I went in there and he blocked me. Girl. And so I'm gonna read, and you can go watch the video. It was their top video, 336. Thank you, Kim. I couldn't remember exactly, but that should tell you my mind is sharp. Probably too TikTok look there. Because they can't say it's a past due amount because they've gotten the amount they've needed the last couple of months. So I'm gonna read to you what she said, and I might interject here or there. So she does a video. It was her latest video. It might not be now. I don't know. And at first I was just gonna speak to it, and then I was like, no, because if people haven't heard what she said, they may not understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. So she does the video where she's sitting there, in her distressed look of it all. She's not sitting behind the computer for this video, or at least it doesn't look like it. And she says, what do you want us to do? Off the rip, first words. And then she says, y'all don't want us to come to TikTok to ask for help. Y'all know that I don't have a job at the moment. Y'all know that if I'm waiting for unemployment to kick in, hopefully soon. I don't know how long it takes. Y'all know I don't have a job. You have a career of sorts, right? And that's working with people who need assistance in their home. I doubt highly that you received a contract that required you to only work for them. You could have picked up a contract with somebody else and gone to work. You could have done um checkout at Walmart. We know there's one nearby. You could have offered to babysit somebody's kids. You could have offered to do many things. But what we know is that you desire this life of leisure so badly that you think that by losing a job that you lost, nobody took it from you. You lost by not doing the job. And of course, the brother in law was able to prove it. You feel like that's a sign from God that neither one of you need to work, even though you have children to feed. If it was just y'all and y'all were cool with living in the car, if it didn't work out, cool. Again, though, any mention of them selling any of that equipment to take care of their family, immediate block. But other people are supposed to take from what they've worked hard for and just give it to them because they have bills to pay. Your unemployment, we know why your unemployment hasn't kicked in yet. You told us. They didn't fire you, they took you off that case. So that's why you couldn't file unemployment. So we don't know when or if it'll ever kick in. If they never fire her, I think at some point when there's no amount of work, you're not offered any amount of work. But why are you waiting on unemployment? Oh, MAGA girl, I'm reading it right now. Again, what do y'all want us to do? Get a job. That's what we want you to do. We want you to do whatever it is you have to do to take care of your own family and your own expenses. Period. That's what we want you to do. And then she says, having that question in my mind, and here's the answer to it. If y'all don't want us to beg on here, and if y'all don't want us to like so-called steal people's money, who's ever said that? But okay, because that's what y'all be saying in the comments. Send us gifts. Excuse me? And later on, she was like, what's wrong with asking for gifts? You're not asking, you're demanding it. And you're making, and you're tying it to your bills, not your content. So if you came on here and just stared at the screen, you still expect to get gifts? Because it's not for the content. It's I have bills to pay. That's not how gifts work. And so you're not asking for gifts, you're demanding them, you're begging for them. And I guess they thought, well, if we just ask for gifts, we're not begging for money. Is gifts not money? She said, send the gifts, big or small. Send gifts. That's all I'm asking. But we get, because we get that on Wednesday. We know how gifts work. She said, I go on live, nobody sends gifts. Like I'd be online for hours and I only make 43 cents. Like I know y'all not broke. And I know some of y'all saying, oh, I maxed out 3,000 on TikTok. But y'all don't do it to us. Can you imagine a content creator saying, that you give your money to other people, but not us. Excuse me? So now you feel like you get to tell people what to do with their money, where to spend it, and that because you're on here for hours, you deserve it too? Do they not understand how gifting works? Correct, Princess. By the way, you guys can pin now, just the FYI. She says, like we actually need it. There's TikToks out there that don't need it, but we actually do. Like TikTok is our income at the moment. So please send gifts. Just send them. Huh? TikTok shouldn't be your only income when that income doesn't cover your expenses. Correct, Carrie. Eleanor, they do understand. They don't care about your needs. They're not put on earth to care about anybody else other than themselves. And see, what's so crazy is that we are now hearing story after story after story of people who mortgaged their homes, ran up credit cards, literally put themselves in financial ruin because they wanted to be the top gifter. They wanted to hear their name shouted out to people who could care less about them. And I haven't heard a single one say, and the person I was gifting turned around and made sure I didn't lose my house. Not a single time. And what do they say? I didn't make you give it to me. You gave it to me of your own free will. And that's true. I gave you this is the platform. You chose to mortgage your house and then give it all to me. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Kimberly. They take absolutely no accountability. And the truth of the matter is, unless the person tells them, I'm mortgaging my house to continue to gift you, how are they supposed to know? And so when she talks about they don't need it, that they do. If you actually need it that bad, you would do something about it. Other than sit there for hours playing games. And I mean hours upon hours upon hours. And you would think that Josh is like, okay, if she's going to work tonight on TikTok, let me go do something else. Let me go and work the third shift. Let me go. No, he's just sitting in the background being quiet until he wants to clap back while he sits on their other account and blocks people and meets people. Correct, Beanie Boss. Or bad, wait, BDA. Okay. Mama, well, all day long. Be, be the boss. Okay, thank you. I'm like BDA. I try, y'all. They do act like working is a crime. So, wait, here it goes. Where were they? TikTok is our income at the moment. Just send them. Okay, big or small gifts. That's all I'm asking. If y'all don't want us to come on TikTok and beg, send the fucking gifts. Picture me, even if I wanted to give you, sending you a penny when you say send the fucking gifts. I'm trying to curse less, but I couldn't not say it exactly how she said it. Are you kidding me? Thank you, BS. Is that what I need to do? Send the fucking gifts. Like, then she says, just send gifts. I'm sick and tired of being online for hours and hours and hours and only make 50 cents. Like, come on, bro. I got bills to pay. Like, I don't want to come on here and ask. Just please send gifts. Just send them. Mind you, she has sad music playing in the background. Right? Pugliazzi. Let me go stand outside and act nutty. Act nutty. And put one cat in a backpack to the front and one cat in the backpack to the back. Like, be serious. And see, this is what irks my nerves because, again, there are real people all over this country, all over this world that find themselves in unexpected circumstances to no fault of their own. The owner of the house or apartment wants to sell it, and you have 60 days to get out, and you weren't prepared for a first, last, and security. This doesn't become your daily thing. It's just a circumstance. And let's not forget they have a GFM. Correct, Cindy. It's all manipulation, and that's part of my problem. But at what point, like, tell me you're doing your damnedest, you're doing your absolute best, and you're like, listen, the only thing I have left in the minutes and hours that I have left is to come on here and play games and hope that people enjoy the content and gift me. But so then she's lied yesterday. Now again, why do you need 513 for your car? Because we know rent is due. They've been paying rent late the last couple of months. So I don't expect anything to be different this month. So after you get that 513, you're going to ask for the 800 for the rent. And the electric has to come up at some point. But they feel like we have very short memories. Like we don't remember that your rent, I mean, that your car payment is three and some change. That y'all can just pop up any number and people aren't going to know. So she starts crashing out last night because she's not getting any gifts. And the people in there are people like us. Now there were some trolls, of course, but there were people like us. Like I don't understand why you expect people to just give you money. She's crashing out because she thinks literally just being present is enough. They really do believe that God has told them that they will achieve greatness. God holds greatness in front of all of us. It's what you're willing to do to achieve it. And greatness is different for a lot of people. Greatness isn't necessarily being wealthy. Greatness can mean being spiritually enlightened, having that connection with God. For some people, that greatness is raising a happy, healthy family. But the Bible says faith without works is dead. If you're not doing anything to achieve it, if you're not stretching yourself, if you're not working hard, if you expect it to come from being easy and lazy and doing the bare minimum, that only comes with the lottery. And even that, very few people win a large amount the very first time they buy a ticket. I know it happens, but it's rare. And they're not even doing that as far as I know. They found something that they like to do where other people make money, big money, but they haven't cracked the code yet. They haven't reached that level. And I think they see that they have, what was it, 90 something thousand followers. They're followers, but they are gone. If you didn't buy some. I don't know if they did or they didn't, but I know it was a thing at one point. And they love to banty that around. We have such and such number of followers, but they aren't there. Let me tell you something. When we all finally left, I went back and checked. It went from 105 people to like 68. So she starts crying. Manipulation. What are you crying for? Again, if you're serious about, because that's the thing, this is business, not pleasure. Oh, 99.1. Okay, thank you. And when they reach a million, they're going to be all happy and excited. But who's there consistently? Who's supporting every stream? The few, the mods? And of course, somebody named Gigi shows up and is the savior of the night. Gigi, do your thing. If you appreciate what they do, make it happen for them. But like I told Gigi last night, can y'all just go ahead and send the money so we don't gotta live through this nonsense? You know they need the money. You know exactly where to send it. Just send it to them. And then we are free from the nonsense. But see, people like Gigi show up and throw a couple of gifts, get all this praise in the world, and then they go back. She needs you every day, Gigi. And she needs you to throw bigger than that if she's going to make it happen. How much were your gifts last night? Correct, Tanya. Why don't you go after Dean Parker or facts still matter? Devin, Dean and Parker are in the political arena. They get gifts because people enjoy what they do. They get direct payments to their payment apps because people enjoy what they do. Why would I go? I told you she'd be live this morning. Why would I go after Dean and Parker? And clearly, you want me to go after them not because of the fact that they're asking for money, but the fact that you disagree with them politically. Help me understand how that makes sense. Why would I even bother to do that? Like, they're not on here begging. You don't have to agree with them. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning to all the mods, by the way. I'm sorry if I didn't say that already. Dean and Parker? The fact that I even know who they are says a lot. Because I hope you enjoyed that comment, Devin, but it landed on deaf ears, I promise. When I want to go, so exactly the same with these other creators, they do beg, they ask for gifts all the time. Okay, Devin, why don't you go and debate them? If you have a passion for debating Dean and Parker, they open up their chat all the time. Go debate them. Or better yet, you go live on your account and drag Devin and Parker because you think they beg. That is absolutely your right to do. The same way it is my right to talk about who I want to on my platform. It's that little thing that's called free speech. I get to choose who and when and what I want to talk about. If you want to talk about Dean and Parker, go make it happen. But this isn't a political arena. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you are on, what you look like, what your age is, what your sexual orientation is. None of that matters to me. But you are free to do whatever you would like. They are demanding gifts. They are saying, I have bills to pay and you must pay it because I'm present. After begging for money for years. And did y'all hear when they were upset about what they claimed the brother-in-law did to them? That they were gonna move? Move where? Y'all just got there. And they also feel like, oh, we've been paying all our bills for 6 months. What do you want from us? If you expect to live any length in life, paying your bills for 6 months is a blip. It's a drop in the bucket. They say we haven't asked for 2 years. What 2 years? The 2 years before you got on TikTok? If you want to make a career out of TikTok, do that. Do that. You know what? When I'm finished, come back up here, Purple Sun. Come back up here when I'm done. Like, y'all people are nuts. Purple, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because if they have a problem with somebody, they have a platform. Devin, I don't debate politics. It has nothing to do with whether they would crush me or not. That is not my area of interest. Right. I don't understand how people want to use my life to discuss their disgust. Go live. But since you want to question why I support somebody, stick around. And Purple, you don't have to go anywhere. But you come up with an account, never heard of you before, never seen you before. So who are you? And what are you even talking about? Because of course I'm supposed to know everything about everybody all at once. Like why would I debate Parker? Like what is the point in my debate? Okay, Purple Sun, you've made the assumption that I know what you're talking about. Am I supposed to know everything all the time, all at once? Have you written me and said, do you know about these allegations? Have you provided any proof of those allegations? No, no. You came in here out of the blue to ask about why I support somebody publicly. What, like, what? What is that supposed to mean? I know, Lumpy, but they'll go run back to whoever and be like, I asked her and she didn't have an answer. You've not told me. You've not, and I don't want you to say what it is in the chat. I don't want you to. Because in the chat, you can't provide proof. So won't you do that? Since you're curious, okay, well, if you're looking out for me, a message. I've never seen you before. You come in an account and I'm supposed to automatically just trust you? See, this is part of the problem. I understand if you have a problem with somebody, you don't like somebody, you don't like what they've done, cool. Hold a live about it, invite everybody, and show the proof. Because if we're going to be frank on this app, there isn't a single person, there isn't a single person within this community that hasn't done something wrong. And people are allowed to pick and choose what they accept and what they don't. Go ahead, Devin. Do the live you want me to do. Okay, do it. I'm trying to understand why other people do the exact same content I do, but I'm the bully. But go have a good time at it. Go do your thing. What I find interesting is that I'm a bully, but I talk about what they do on TikTok. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. You're a 60-year-old father of one? Again, I'm not concerned. You aren't the first, you won't be the last. Good morning, good morning. You act like coming in here and trying to shake me is gonna make a difference. Okay, Devin, have at it. How I just read word for word what she said in her live. Lie where? Where's the lie, Devin? Come on, big man. Where's the lie? Hey, TikTok president, I didn't see you before, but thank you for liking the live. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, you said that I lie about everything. You said that I lie about everything. Where's the lie? Nope. You didn't say insinuate. You said I lie about everything. But if he's a Daniel Axe supporter, you can mute him now. Like I don't need to go back and forth with someone. He can be muted. He's taken enough time. Okay. Prove I'm lying. Go live and enjoy yourself. Oh, he's not gone. He's just muted, I'm assuming. It's okay, y'all. It's okay. Y'all don't, I appreciate you guys coming to my defense. I really do. But once they are done, let them be done. It's crazy. Purple Suns, if you came in here to create problems, you started off by saying you were here to protect me. I've asked you to send me a message and tell me what it is and show proof or go live. Period. There's nothing more to say. Okay? There's nothing more to say. Something simply came. My goodness. 50 other lives going on. And in here they come. I haven't been live since last Wednesday. But it's whatever. Okay. Let's get back to business. You weren't blocked, but you were muted. Oh, okay, Erica. Let me know. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I was going live Saturday night, so I was taking the time to do research. And then everything changed. Yeah, Purple, don't worry about it. Because people who try to come in here and just lay allegations and stuff like that, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because why don't you just do your thing? Do your thing. I get up here, and when I have a problem, I get up here and I talk about it on my platform. I don't need to run to anybody else's to express what I think, how I feel, none of it. Everybody has the same ability. And then you let people decide. Because I guarantee you that there's somebody you like that I wouldn't sit with. So let's not have a purity standard, because if we do, then if you I support somebody that you don't appreciate, you don't like what they've done or whatever, cool. Let me analyze the people you support, and I have to let go of everybody, and then so do you. I promise you it wouldn't be the same outcome. So don't worry. So reg- regardless, at the end of the day, you asked, what do we want from you? We want to see a greater effort, or else people are going to be doing this month after month after month. I know it's your big dream, and you spent all kinds of money creating this setup. What was crazy was that last night she even had to admit that they couldn't afford to pay for the pro version that allows the gifts to make the noises or whatever. Like, I'm not into that. So they don't even have the money to do the lives the way they want to. If that's not telling you something, something is off. And again, if people wanted to take care of you, they just would. They would appreciate you so much that all you would have to say is, it's the beginning of the week and we need our gift gallery filled. They want a battle, but they can't get a team. Well, if the team is already paying your bills, who's got money to battle with you? They're paying your bills already. And again, that's not enough for them, because they don't want to have to sit there and say, we need $800. Please, if anybody can help, we need. That's what they don't want to do anymore. The only way you solve that is that you work hard. That's not going to come easy. You think that the people who have gotten famous on the internet, and it seemed like it was overnight, even if somebody goes from obscurity to a whole bunch of followers and viewers. Remember the girl, it was Who the F Did I Marry? She picked up a following fast, and people literally watched like 8 hours of her content. Y'all do realize that she wasn't in the Creator Rewards Fund before that. So guess what happened? She didn't make money on any of it. And people were like, oh, she's doing it to make money. She didn't make a dime. She was just telling her story. She didn't know it was going to blow up like that. But since then, she hasn't relied on the story to keep her going. And she had a job the whole time. She didn't come to TikTok and say, and since he got put out and I got to do this, I need your help. No, there's no one time spark and you're done for life. You actually have to work at it. It may look easy to you, it's not. She wants 120. Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was gonna be a birthday-a-thon. Yo, Cat was. I saw a photo where Cat was in Yazzy's live. I was like, wow, wow. We are really trying to learn, aren't we? Okay, I know I said somebody said they wanted Tim and Angela. Okay, let's talk about it. Yes, they are both unemployed. And yeah, I saw Cake and Zim's live. I'm gonna talk about it in a minute. Um, they're both unemployed. They're waiting for her to get unemployment, but it's unclear if they're even gonna get it. And they have been trying for years to be full-time content creators. I'm not talking about them. Wait, help marijuana. Understand. We're talking about these two, Josh and Ida. They have desired to be content creators full time for years. And so that they have on multiple occasions, or at least one, let me say that. They said it again, but they quit their jobs to be full time content creators. And while they have a lot of followers, they don't have a lot of supporters. So they can't make it. So they start begging for money, literally to pay their bills. And then eventually they got jobs, but they still desire to be full time content creators. It still didn't work out. And now neither of them have a job. And which one they tried to blame me for one job loss. Like literally said they had proof and provided absolutely nothing. And she lost her job because instead of being at her job, she was with Josh because she believes that married couples should be with each other 24/7, regardless. Good morning, Ladybug. Good morning, good morning. Regardless, right, she got fired because she wasn't taking care of her own mother in law. And her brother-in-law went to the agency. She wasn't fired. She was removed as her mother-in-law's caregiver. And all they had to do was use TikTok as proof that she wasn't there when she was supposed to be. But they feel like that was a betrayal from family. But it wasn't a betrayal to get paid for taking care of a woman you weren't taking care of. Somebody make that make sense to me. Ellie or Elle, I'm not sure. I don't know what it is, but they have two daughters at the end of the day. And those two daughters have to come before any insecurities. Those daughters have to come before. And see, that's the thing. If she took care of somebody else, Josh wouldn't be able to be there. And the client could require overnight care. That might be the only position available. Josh can't be there because who's going to be with the girls? So for me, they have a larger responsibility. Once you have children, while your dreams can remain, they come second to taking care of your kids. So if you can't pay the rent and become homeless, whose fault is that? Calling BS, it is absolutely diabolical. And when somebody said something to her about having a 401k, she didn't even know what it was. She literally said out of her mouth, "Stop trying to put that on me." Like she thought it was some devil code. And when you try to tell them something, they don't want to hear it if it doesn't align with their thought process. You're not going to make it in life not expanding your mind, or you're going to be exactly where you are. TikTok could go, and they always talk about how somebody said it earlier. They talk about how much love they get on YouTube. They talk about how much love they get on Twitch. When I went to their Twitch account, it was 2 people in there, but that's what they were telling people on TikTok. I guess as a way to say, be jealous of what they're doing on the other side. It doesn't make any sense. Like literally, I can't see how any of this makes sense. But they do, so keep going. Okay. So I need to say this off top. Angela was legitimately in the hospital. She is legitimately ill. And I wish nothing but the best for her. I hope she has a full recovery. Are any of us surprised by what she's been diagnosed with? No. And for her to have an ongoing happy life, they're going to have to make changes, period. But I absolutely wish her well. But this isn't about her. This is about him. See, two things can be true at once. You could not come on here anymore. And regardless, people are going to talk about you. Look at what just happened to me. I'm waiting for Devin's live. People are going to talk about you. To expect that you not being here for a week is going to stop people from talking about you, you can't be serious. Like, that is not even a mature thought process. Now, I might not cover you if you're not begging, but to expect the entire community to not bring you up, not to discuss you because you haven't gone live for a week or two, you've done that in the past and came right back to begs. So why can't you have a measure of self-control that says they're going to talk about me, but I need to focus on my real life? Because TikTok is fake, right? It's not your real life. Correct, Kentucky. So we don't know his wife is in the hospital. I don't know anybody who knew that. But he comes to TikTok, which is out the blue for me. If other people knew she was in the hospital, I don't know anybody who knew. He comes back to TikTok and says, the threat on their life while she's in the hospital is where they draw the line. They're deleting the app. Thank you, Cad. Thank you, Just Kim. First of all, show us the proof. Show us the proof that somebody threatened your life while your wife was in the hospital. Second, if you wanted to delete the app, you didn't have to tell us. If you felt like the threat was real or whatever, just delete the app. Disconnect your account. It's not worth it. Then what's the announcement for? But it's the third thing he did that actually disturbed me first. He says, if you're friends of ours, you have 1 hour to contact me so I can tell you where we'll be. If they're friends of yours, you know them already. So why didn't you send them a message privately? And someone might say, well, they would have to message each person individually. What do you think is going to happen when the person asks, where are you going? They're going to have to answer each of those people individually. You don't know who your friends are on here? You couldn't have told them, listen, we are done with TikTok. This is where we're going. Now, what's interesting about that statement is that it sounded like they were going to pop up on another app, correct? And if you think going to another app is going to stop people from checking you to find out if you're begging for money, it's not. It's not. Some people have the thought that we're only going to discuss what you beg on TikTok. But if our goal is to stop people from being taken advantage of, why does which app it happens on matter? Just because we talk about it on TikTok. We can let them know, oh, they're doing it over on such and such. And let's be clear, I have an account everywhere. So I could go live anywhere and be like, this account right here, they're begging for money. They've been doing it for a long time. So then the accounts disappear. And it's like, okay. And then the next thing I know, there's a picture of Angela in the account. Both accounts are back. And she's laying in a hospital bed with either a CPAP machine or an oxygen machine, a BPAP machine, all of it. What was that for? To prove to people that she was actually in the hospital? Why does the general public need to know that? Especially when you know that there are people on the app who will take a photo like that and AI it. Did you do that because you knew people would do that and that's what you were looking for? You don't make moves that sound like somebody who wants privacy. Is all I'm saying. Correct, Cindy. I'm getting right there. Okay, Sandy, please enjoy your day. Hug your granddaughter for me. They are precious. So he wants all his people to know. Again, they're your friends. You could have wrote them and told them. You could have even sent them the photo. You can do that in TikTok now. And then the next thing I know, he's live. It's your right to be live, sir. 110%. It is your right to be live. And you start talking about all the things. Why do I know how much things are going to cost you? And then you wonder why you get disgust. You tell us that you're at work all day and then you come home, take care of the dog, and then run up to the hospital. Okay, cool. Why do I have to know the intricacies behind how much things cost and what the social worker at the hospital or the nurses or whatever were able to figure out for you so that it would be less? Let's not forget. That's true, Lisa. Correct. Wait, who said that? Correct, made in Canada. And that's what I mean. I understand she may want to rest for a few days after the hospital, but I know my last surgery, literally, I had the surgery in the morning, and by the afternoon, they had my ass walking around the halls. Legitimately. And I was like, already they were like, yep, you gotta move. We don't want any blood clots. We want to make sure that you're breathing. Let's go. I was devastated because I wanted to stay in that bed for real. But let's remember this. And this is what I mean by I don't have a short memory, and I know y'all don't either. Remember, just weeks ago, he claimed that his entire paycheck was going to pay for her bills, right? Her office visits and the tests, right? So how do you not have $7 to buy her medication? At least one or two or three or four. You were paying hundreds of dollars a week. And now you're trying to hem and haw about how to pay for her medication? And let me just tell you something. They have coverage of some kind. It might not be Medicaid, but it might be Medicare. And I'm going to tell you why. They don't have a problem, not a single problem, with having a hospital bill. Have you ever heard them say, oh my God, we have this $20,000 hospital bill? Or we were able to get compassionate care and now the bill is 1,500? No. Correct, lumpy pillows. And that's kind of what he was describing, that they were trying to make sure that the medications like were affordable. But how is the hospital bill getting paid? Because even if they do compassionate care, if you have income, they want a piece of it. They're not just letting you come and go from the hospital saying the entire bill is paid. If that was the case, everybody would be at the hospital all the time. Even if they have to make payment arrangements with you, they will do that. But we never hear about a hospital bill. Well, Cindy, it gives me the vibes that anything that anybody, like a physical therapist said, oh, she might need a shower chair and a walker. Or, and listen, she may need the walker and the shower chair because of her knees. It might not have anything to do with her breathing or her sleep apnea, which again, why do we know that? Because he can't help himself. I don't understand how somebody that wants so much privacy and doesn't want to be talked about is on this app literally detailing A to Z, and then expecting people not to talk about it. But Tim, the other thing is this: your past behavior indicates what we can expect in the future. And you have done this multiple times where you have a legitimate incident and then you end up on TikTok begging for money, whether it's for the medications or because you should have saved money on food this week. You didn't have to feed her, you just had to feed yourself. And I'm not being funny. I'm saying if you are literally counting down to the pennies, where's all the money from when you had to get her tested? Correct, Shasky. It's predictable. Believe me, I know about knee pain. I struggle with it every day. And on the days when I do nothing, I pay for it the next day. Because my knees are like, oh, you want to be stiff? Well, watch us get stiffer. And you gonna wish you had gotten up and walked around. But don't come to the app talking about money, what you're going to need, how much it's going to cost, when she's going to get out, when all of these things are going to be necessary, and then go hide. Because what we know is that while you might not have asked for a single dime while you were alive, we know you send DMs. We know you request money. And see, after you've already explained to everybody multiple times what is necessary in the amount, asking people in the DMs is then easy. Oh, you were in my live the other day. We're going to need $50 to get all of her medications. And let's think about it. Who's paying for the durable medical equipment? Because they don't give it to you. They may give you the walker to keep, but if it's coming from an agency, sometimes it's a rental and they want it back when it's over. Like a CPAP machine, when you don't need it anymore, they want it back sometimes. It's not like it used to be. Because what is good? What good is equipment sitting in somebody's drawer when somebody else could use it? Who's paying for it? So when he says stuff like she's never had Medicaid, that is very specific. And yes, it may be true. That doesn't mean she doesn't have any coverage at all. And I'm starting to think that it's Medicare. Can you see the light? If you have Medicaid, the state will pay for it. While you may be automatically eligible, it doesn't mean that you have it, is all I'm going to say. Being eligible and qualifying are two different things. Japonica, if there's a job, like let's be serious. Cindy, he says she's never had Medicaid. Not that she doesn't have any insurance at all. All I'm saying. How T Money? people lose their ability to have certain benefits if they've done something wrong. So let's say you had Medicaid and you were working and you didn't report it. They could say you can't have access to Medicaid. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not likely. I'm not saying that it's not likely. I'm just saying that there are reasons why some people can qualify for one thing and not the other. Correct, darling, darling. She did. I just don't know. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Good morning. Not if they have Medicaid. I mean, Medicare. Not if they have Medicare. Y'all are thinking that the only thing possible is TennCare or Medicaid. There are other options. And that would mean that they're lying about other things. But I don't put anything past them. Nothing. Because just like the others, they feel entitled based solely on the fact that they exist. They feel like help to them should be unlimited while they condemn other people for existing. Make it make sense because it doesn't to me. See, they'll talk about, and don't get me wrong, they haven't said these words to my knowledge, but they're the kind of people that will talk about a welfare queen, but see themselves as deserving. And can you hand me your money, please? Correct, Cindy. Let's hope so for the both of them. Steve quit. Yeah, that account went away eventually. Dang. Okay, next. This one may take some time, and I need to go through it with y'all. And this is another one that I brought to the community. Yeah, God don't play about Tim. Mhm. This is another one I brought to the community. Nobody had caught her yet. Nobody saw what she was doing. So Karla went away for a period of time. And I know the last time I reported on her, I was talking about the fact that things are getting worse. She's not doing her hair, she's not doing her makeup. And then suddenly it was like she had nothing. Like literally, she had two bags. And before that, she had a huge piece of luggage. She was walking around with an air purifier. She was doing her hair and makeup every day. And literally, just one day that stopped. And now she barely has any clothes. It was like two garbage bags. It wasn't legit, but it was small like that, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, oops. I'm looking for one thing and pulled out the other. So she came back, and this was like maybe a week and a half ago now, and I didn't have an opportunity to talk about it, but I need to because the one thing I can't stand is somebody using God in their bag. I can't stand it. And she's one of that reason is one of the reasons that I talk about some of the people I talk about on a regular basis because they always tie God into their nonsense. And I can't stand it. So she comes on, she's sitting on the floor with a bed behind her, and it doesn't look like a hotel. It looks like an Airbnb of sorts. And she's like, hi, hi, hi. She's going to wait a couple of seconds. And then she starts talking about what happened. So she said she's dealing with a lot of panic attacks and anxiety, that everything is triggered. She feels like being online influenced her to believe things that she felt like she was dreaming about something. She felt like God was talking to her about something. Then she felt like she was getting confirmation on the internet and she would do those things. And this is why I don't understand why people say things to people without knowing whether or not they are actually truly connected to God. Your statements like, yes, God is talking to you. Yes, that's what God wants for your life. You don't know that. And what becomes very clear to me, and probably to other people based on the story, is that she wasn't in her right mind all the time. And so you confirming what somebody says as God sent when you don't even know if that person is actually connected to God is crazy work. It's like people telling them God got her and God is going to restore her. Yo, why are y'all talking about other people's karma when they're living theirs presently? But I'll get to them. So she talks about how she had started in the charismatic movement and that after being in that movement for a while, she realized that that wasn't what God wanted her to do. So she left there. And she says that God has been using her as a broken vessel for the last 4 years. She claimed that her family had dabbled in witchcraft most of her childhood and that when she was young, she didn't realize what it was, but that was probably what led her to needing to leave the area. According to her, the house she is in now, which I'm just going to tell you, is her mother's house with her stepfather, is owned by the stepfather. And that she had a lot of trauma in that house because what her stepdad did to her and her mother, that she has an incredible amount of trauma with her dad and within herself. She then said that she was getting closer to God, but she knew working a job wasn't for her. She claimed that she was being targeted when she worked in the past for being nice and doing the right thing. If that was the case, why aren't more God fearing people out of work? If it was you were being targeted for being nice and doing your job. She claims that she was brave but needed to leave everything behind. So she went on this quest from 2021 to 2026, but that she had been back to this very house and in Houston 3 times. And she always felt led by God to leave. She still thinks that God was sending her to minister to people, but she now knows she has no idea what God has planned for her life. She had dreams, people coming up to her, and people online confirming those dreams. And so she thought it was all coming from God. She said that God is the only one who can create these things. But the problem is that the devil knows what you want to. I've always said it. God isn't the only one who blesses, or otherwise, bad people wouldn't find success. Why are so many bad people successful if only blessings came from God? She also thought, she's never said this before, but that she thought that God was telling her that she would get out of this homeless situation by having a husband. That a husband was going to come and rescue her out of this situation. Now, that's very telling because there was a moment in time where she stopped talking to women altogether. And then there was a moment in time where a gentleman was taking care of her. And he even gave her access to his card, like on her Google Play or Apple Pay, to pay for her rooms, etc. And during those times, she was never on the app. She would claim that she would minister to some random person, but that always led into, but I'm broke, I need money. Or I remember the time that she was ministering to a child, and I said, how dare you? Without a parent's permission. That little girl took food out of their home. And she felt like because she shared a chicken sandwich with her that and ministered to her that that was God's will. And I think she thought that that man was the answer to her prayers, that this was God showing her. But eventually, it sounds like the gentleman wanted more of her than she was willing to give. And so we cut her off. And then her begging increased and it got more desperate. She was also a liar. She would say she was other places and she was still in Tennessee. She would call Tennessee like the most evil. I'm sorry, not Tennessee. Nashville was the most evil place to be, and she had to leave. She would literally go to airports and be like, I need the money for the ticket. Oh, and then she'd get to the airport and say, I need the money for my baggage. She'd show up later at an airport, and I'm doing that in air quotes, and now she needs a hotel room. And the question is, were you just in a different section of the same airport and you went right back out? Did you need to stay in the airport because it was cold and people wouldn't really be looking at you with luggage? So you gathered up all this money and now you're good for a few days? That's not godly. Then she said she knew she wasn't crazy, but that her health became compromised, that she was bloated, and that her body refused to accept eating food from a shelter or a food pantry. Isn't that interesting? Because I know she liked to go to places like Whole Foods and stuff, but of course her body couldn't take it. And she has this ongoing thing with mold. Now, mold can be incredibly dangerous, right? But I watched the story the other day where these people were complaining about mold, and the city kept telling them, but you can do something about it. So they finally sent out a mold specialist. And keeping it a buck, it was them. They were washing in their tiny apartment, and then and it was like a studio. And then they were drying all the clothes in the apartment, never opening the windows and doors. They were literally creating their own mold. But usually, when mold gets to a dangerous level, they will move you because they could be liable. But let's remember, this was an apartment that she was given for, she didn't have to pay a dime. She lived in it for a year. As soon as she got that apartment and didn't have to pay a dime, she quit her job. She quit her job. And I want to say this was back in Houston. And she was mad that the woman demanded that she be nice when she comes in. What are you talking about? Thank you, Renee, for the heart me. Thank you, guys. What do you mean? That you were mad that she wanted you to come in and be nice. Isn't that common courtesy? This woman is paying your rent every month. Well, her program is. I don't mean her. And she got sick and tired of being nice. And the mold was overwhelming. So they ended the program. And somehow she thought that without a job, without an income, without any financial income of any kind, without a cosigner, that she was going to be able to get a car and get an apartment. You are in your mid 30s, my dear, and you still think that you were going to get a car and an apartment with no money to speak of? And she still blames other people for that. Like, even today, she doesn't understand why those things didn't happen for her. She said that when she left the shelter, that God promised her she wouldn't be in a shelter again, and he kept that promise. But except 2 months before all of this, she was in a shelter. Remember, I told y'all she claimed she fell out the top bunk and hurt herself? So she couldn't go back to the shelter, and so they put her in another hotel. She said that she has had mental, physical, autoimmune, exposure to mold, very being spiritually attacked, and the environment. That she was really sick and she kept getting denied for insurance. You were denied because you had no reason not to work. She eventually got um She got insurance through the Affordable Care Act, but she was going for Medicaid. And for whatever reason, she didn't qualify. Tennessee is a tough state to get Medicaid in, from what I can tell. Other states give it much easier than Tennessee. I'm sure she did lumpy pillows. She said that she wasn't getting a lot of money. She was just getting enough for a hotel, food, and transportation. If you got that for 30 days straight, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for someone who didn't work. She acts like it was because it wasn't the life she wanted that it was pittance. Most people in your situation are going shelter to shelter until they get a job. No children, and yet you couldn't get it together. Okay. And then she had this strong feeling that God wanted her to get rid of things. So she literally got rid of everything. Good morning. Good morning. She got rid of everything. Good morning, checkmate. Now, if you have a problem with molds, why would you get rid of the air purifier that your supporters gave you the money to get? You spent $100 on that piece of luggage from your supporters. Why would you get rid of it? And see, this where we go from being a follower of Christ to not having all of your mental faculties together. I cannot give her a diagnosis. I don't know what it is. Again, she no longer had her hair straightener. She no longer had her makeup. She no longer had her supplements. She no longer had her air purifier. All things that just months before she desperately needed to survive. And her supplements were not cheap. And she was only getting a little bit in food stamps. And that's another reason why you know she wasn't hopping state to state. Because you got to get new food stamps when you go. Anyway, she also revealed that at some point she had a car and she got rid of it. But this was like earlier on. And she's like, there were reasons why, but I won't get into it. If it was because you couldn't afford it anymore, that's the only reason that makes sense to me. So even though she wasn't sure it was God, she felt like God was telling her to come home back to Houston. But because she wasn't sure, instead she went to Chicago. She believes, she just said this herself, that she believes that she has a mood disorder. Right, made in Canada. Just because you know scripture and you have an idea doesn't mean that you're following it correctly. And even she has admitted that other people aren't following the Bible and God correctly. She talks about her mother like that her mother's gotten closer to God but doesn't like know enough. She not only got rid of like the air fryer, at one point she got rid of her cell phone. In in this day and age, she said that she felt God wanted her to live like John the Baptist. No, she's not new to me. She might be new to the community, but I've been talking about her for at least what, almost a year now. She thought God wanted her to live like John the Baptist in 2026. Even those who have chosen a life of poverty have a cell phone. Where are payphones? Like if you have an emergency, who's calling? How are you gonna call? So now she had no access to TikTok. She couldn't call anybody. Like that's not right. That's not reasonable. And she says while she was in Chicago, she saw God twice. And I guess she was very desperate because now she can't ask anybody for anything. How would she even know if there was any money on her payment apps? So she said she decided to do something radical. She wouldn't say what it was, but she decided to do something radical to get somebody to help her. So she does whatever it is, and a woman tells her, talks to her, and she says, like, where do you need to be? She tells the woman where she needs to go next. The woman promises to do that. And in the meantime, the police showed up. And this is her response: I shouldn't have trusted that lady. That lady probably saved your life. So the police come, and she's like, the police ask her, and they say the same thing: we're going to take care of you. And she thought that meant that they were going to take her where she wanted to go. They brought her to the hospital. And for several days, she was in the regular hospital while they checked her over, head to toe, and then decided to put her in the mental hospital. Now, the hospital that she named, I actually did look up the reviews. It is one of the worst mental hospitals I've ever seen on the planet. So at first I thought she was just like complaining, but no, they do seem awful. They seem awful. Now, making her take medication, most hospitals will do that. Most mental hospitals will do that. They might not say take it or else, but the goal is to get you stable. They don't want to put you on the street unstable. And this particular hospital, the reviews were horrible. They wouldn't stay in contact with your family. People weren't allowed to visit. Family members were threatened. Um, People would be lost, like they would be there one day and gone another, never to be heard from again. Like it's crazy reviews on this hospital. And of course, she starts ministering in there and feels like that's they target her extra for that. And the two people she was ministering with. Now, you're in a psych ward. It's not the same thing as being in a hospital ward. So, yes, you're going to see uncomfortable things in there because there are people there who have problems worse than yours. So, I don't know what she expected or if she had a clue, but in order for her to leave, she had to promise to do all the things they had her doing in there. That's not like any other hospital. And they wouldn't let her leave on her own. So she said the only telephone number she could remember was her mom's job. And she got in touch with her mother. And guess who went and picked her up? They do lumpy pillows. That's why I said I went and looked up the hospital and she wasn't wrong. I'm going to keep it a buck. With the stepdad. Well, I don't know if the stepdad went, but she is now living with the mom and the stepdad. The people she has railed against for years. Now, of course, she claims her mom has done work on herself and she sees a difference and she thinks that she's like, I think the best thing was that I came out of a mental hospital because now they realize that something is really wrong and that they need to listen to me. In one hand, she's thankful, in the next, she's like, but I still need to get out of here. I don't know how long this is going to last. And she's like, I'm still bumping heads with my mother about certain things. Girl, have you not learned that you need to shut up sometimes? That it's not always going to be your way? Have you not figured that out yet? So she even said that at one point when she refused to accept the medication, she saw a demon come out of the psychiatrist's face. And she's like, maybe that's why God allowed me to be there because he wanted me to see that. Her mom came through. She didn't have to. Sorry, it's a lot of notes. So, of course, what's the first thing she realizes is that the house is full of mold. So somehow she comes in contact with somebody in Houston who tests for mold and she prayed over him and all these things and he agreed to test the house for mold. And he does for free and then says, even if the mold is minimal or mild or whatever phrase she gave it, it didn't sound like a house that was covered in mold. So that's one of the, yeah, her mother's house. So that's one of the other reasons she needs to get out of there, right? Because she's so concerned about the mold in the house. She said that the other people she's talking to have also been led to go back to their hometown. And so she doesn't think this is a coincidence. Yeah, if they've been living like you, they had to go back home because they didn't have anything else. Like after a while, this game of getting other people to pay your way comes to an end. Because I'm, it's okay to receive a blessing and to thank God for the blessing. But that came out of somebody's wallet. Do you understand me? Somebody had to work for that money. But if you just say, oh, well, it's God's blessing, then you don't have to take any accountability for the fact that you're draining people of their money. It's God's blessing. So After this was an hour long conversation. The live was an hour and a half. It was like an hour and 38 minutes. So we get an hour of all of this. And I've left some things out. I mean, I know that I talked about a lot of it extensively, but I left some stuff out, believe it or not, because it didn't take me an hour to tell it. And here we go. So she's thinking about doing another GFM because at various times she talked about how her mother's finances aren't good and she's also ill, and the same for the stepfather, and that she feels bad because when she got there she had nothing, none of the clothes. But wait, I gotta say this because at one point she starts doing her makeup while she's live. Where'd that come from? But anyway, she showed up with nothing. And she had been there for 2 weeks at that point and just got access to her phone number. So I don't know if they got her a phone or if there was a phone there and she put her phone number. Like, I don't know. But she had already been there for 2 weeks, and that she literally had gotten her phone 20 minutes prior to going live. And she's already thought about a GoFundMe. And then she says, I'm broke. I need a car. I'm going to take it really slow about getting a job. But I need money for my own place. I need money for a car. I need money to see a doctor. I need money for a therapist. Girl, are you kidding me? She didn't discuss the diagnosis. So either she doesn't accept it or she doesn't believe it. She said she believes she has a mood disorder, but until a doctor, you get evaluated and that's what they tell you, that's your own thought pattern. And I don't know if maybe she thinks having a mood disorder is better than being accused of having anything else. But that's her life and those are her choices. She can choose to follow a regimen or not. That is absolutely her right. If she tries to hurt herself or someone else, she's going to end up back where she was before. But my problem is you have all of these grandiose ideas and you want somebody else to pay for it. Oh, yeah, Sherry, they did. And they prescribed her medication. But she doesn't believe in what they did. She feels like it was a demon, that the psychiatrist was a demon. So if you felt like somebody was a demon, would you take the medication they gave you? They don't. Those who support her don't know the word either, because they'd be able to see right through it like I did. They don't actually have a mature relationship with their spirituality. They just look for these outward displays and think that must be what God wants us to do. Now, a lot of them aren't willing to do it themselves because how could they support her if they didn't work? She never shows any proof of her service. None. She may talk to somebody on the back end and pray for them. Cool, okay. But again, if this was what God want her to do, why would she end up there? But regardless of somebody's mental health status, if they think other people should pay for them, it doesn't matter. They're going to come back and ask for money, no matter what the story is. Even when they've made the story very clear that they didn't have a good connection with reality, they will come back and ask for money. And that's the problem. That's my only problem. Y'all know how I feel about people with mental health. I believe that it needs to be acknowledged and treated and handled with care. But that doesn't mean that you're not also a scammer. Plain and simple. And if you don't want that label, stop doing things that require that other people pay your way while you take, because this is the thing. You're living with your mother. And no matter what's happened in the past, this is a new set of circumstances. You have a place to live and food to eat. You're stable now. Your whole complaint before was that you didn't know if you would have the hotel the next day if you went to work and you weren't able to go live and beg for the money. Mind you, people were paying for her hotels days in it, like multiple days in a row. And when she would come back to ask for more money, she would be like, "My body was hurting. All I did was sleep." Then, girl, you're not taking it seriously. She even had people buying her feminine products. I am not kidding. Without batting an eyelash. And even now, when has achieved the stability, she's going to take her time looking for a job. But in the meantime, send her some money. Now, I didn't go look for the GFM. I didn't see it in her account at the time. But I guess it's coming. Right. She's always ministering them. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Granny Annie. Thank you so much. She's always ministering to somebody. Oh, wow. Cindy, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for liking the live. I appreciate it. So that's that on her. Now we have a few minutes left. That was pretty. I need to talk about a couple more people. Now I have been going in and out of Zim's live as digital forever. I've been in Zim's box. And I wasn't screaming, hooping, hollering. I wasn't cursing her out. I wasn't telling her she was a horrible person because you know that I don't talk to people that way, especially when I'm trying to help you. At that time, I wasn't even talking to her about scamming. I was telling her she needs to stop trusting people because not everybody, no, she didn't get her kids back. And based on her present behavior, it doesn't look like she will. Because there's no way. Yes, they told her she can be on TikTok. I mean, what would be the grounds for them to tell her not to be? But I know for a fact that she was told that she needs to get other things in order. And she hasn't done those things based on her own lives. The fact that the moment she wakes up until she goes to bed, she's on live. What are you doing? If the classes she needs to go through are online, are they only available Monday to Friday, 9 to 5? Because for parents who work, they have to be available at other times. They're all online. The father is literally doing what he's always done. And there are some people who think that because she's always taking care of the business, that when she tells him everything's going to be okay, he believes her. And that's how they keep ending up in these situations. Like he's not fully aware. At what point is he going to take charge if he loves his children so much? Did he read the paperwork himself? I'd be reading every line, every piece of punctuation to make sure that I understood what they said. I went to court, I'd have a notebook. Yeah, I know you're going to give me this piece of paper, but I need to write it down in a way that I understand. Because you can give me this paper and then I'll get home and forget everything you said. She got to visit the children. And when I saw the picture of the children, a tear came to my eye, and I'm not kidding. They look so well cared for. How do I know? Each of the girls especially, hair done crispy, braids, so that they don't have to do something to it every day. They could have showed up with two like Mickey Mouse balls on each side, and it still would have probably been better. The baby clearly has gained weight, and her feet, because she was born with club feet, are now in their boots. Will you ever see Zim's baby with boots on? How would we know? Because a baby was always sitting on her somewhere. They're actually taking care of the children. And you would think that for 5 minutes, she would look at all of this and say, okay, they were all dressed. They all looked good. Now, of course, they were happy to see their parents, and they may have even cried when they were separated because they only know their parents. So they have had what? Echo, stop. They have had 1 month of living someplace else. And probably the first couple of weeks were uncomfortable. So now they have their entire life and 2 weeks of comparison. Of course, they want to be with their parents. That's all they really know. But I hope, based on the way they look, that they are receiving the kind of care that every child deserves. Just based on their look. Like the baby blew me away. Good morning, exposing. But instead of taking a clue, listening to anybody else that has lost their children in the state of California and what to do, you would see her move differently. You never took your children bowling, but now you want to be out there bowling on Father's Day? Like, not for nothing, I'd be sitting there on Father's Day writing my children on how I'm going to be a better father. What you celebrating for? But it's a childish mentality. And it's also this faulty understanding that because I say I love God today and I'm going to get my life together, that it's just going to be handed to me on a silver platter. See, God handed you the life you said you wanted on a silver platter. You wanted a lot of kids, He gave them to you and said, they're my blessings. Now do what you will. And you failed them. So you crying out God now matters what? People talk about how like the scriptures are dead. They're such an old book. If you had just abided by the scriptures that you claim that you love, you would have treated your children differently. You would have been married. You would have made sure that school was a priority. Because if they can't read and write, what is their future going to look like? You would have gotten services for your children who had any sort of delay. You would have made sure that if the baby needed boots, that she had them and was wearing them. You would have continued using her feeding tube to keep her alive instead of wanting her to be normal by your standards. And see, this is the beautiful thing. You want to put all of that on Front Street and then say, well, you can't criticize me for it. Girl, you need to worry less about me being in your chat and worry about the fact that CPS, the judge, and the police are watching you. She had a nerve to be mad that someone, that Claudia, I can't even say someone, that Claudia, who was funding just about every move, put them in a motel. And when they looked outside, there were people who were high, homeless, just sleeping in the doorway, and demanded that Claudia move her. Excuse me? And then this was from Holly. The house that she claimed she was paying for, she said she was giving him $400 a week to hold the home. That's $1,600 a month on average. Do you know what rent is like in California? So she claims she's been paying that for a couple of months. And then, of course, because she's lost her income, meaning the kids, and the housing that went along with it, she can't afford the house. But she wants her money back. And people were devastated that he wouldn't give her the money back. Now, let's just play along that she was actually giving this man $400 a week. I bet that the rent was probably between $2,500 and $3,000 for a house the size that she said it was. Okay? We're talking California. Even if she was giving him 1,600 to hold it, every day that he held it for her, he was losing money. I know there was, but that's what I'm saying. I'm playing along. If he held it for her, he was losing money every day. Why would he give her money back? Do y'all not understand that this is business? It's not personal? That even if he did her that favor and continued to hold it for her, he was losing money. Because even Holly at first was like, why would he just give her money back? Because this is business and not personal. She said she changed her mind about moving there because of break ins. Be serious. Be serious. And thank you for watching me for 50 minutes. I appreciate it. So I go in there to just see what's going on because I have to take a break from Zim. I really do. Because I can't deal with the level of stupidity that happens in those lives. Where I watch her 1 minute be calm and understanding, and I'm forgiving all of my enemies, and I'm gonna leave you to God, and I gotta be better for my children, and I'm gonna do this, that, and the third, to literally flipping out in the next second. And everybody's getting cursed out. And she's talking bad about other people's children. Which one is it going to be then? Because unfortunately for you, you can't be both. You can't be both. Correct, exposing. Are you worried because you know what's coming next may be the straw that breaks the camel's back? Huh? Are you worried? Is that straw the reason why you didn't want CPS involved in the first place? Is that straw the reason why you put your sister on child support paperwork? Hmm? Because let me tell you something. Whether it comes out that you are brother and sister or not, which is really bad, it is against the law in the state of California. And if you are convicted of that, it comes with further ramifications that stick with you for a very long time, if not life. You still don't have your kids. And you're still doing nothing materially that we can see that suggests that you're doing anything to get better. Where is the job search? You want me to believe that when you finally get off live, the two of you lay in the bed and look for jobs? Because otherwise, you're both online. And then you had a nerve to have cake in your life. Mind you, what was hilarious is there's a reason they jump in each other's box, and it's not to support each other. Oh, yeah, third shift. When do they sleep? But if they're working, why does everybody still have to keep putting them in hotels? Oh, I'm sure she is. Cake was in her box. They are not in each other's lives to support each other. That is the front of it all. I'm gonna be in here. I'm gonna support you. I'm gonna even send you gifts and tell you to keep going and F these people and blah, blah, blah. You want them to continue so you can continue. But the real reason is they hope that they pick up followers while they're in your box. Because if you're getting money from people, I need to continue to get money from new people because some of the old people have gotten tired. They've had enough. They realize nothing is going to change. There's no next thing. You laying up here talking about you're drinking water out the sink and ketchup packets. Maybe you should eat like that for a little while so you know how your children felt when they were fighting over juice from a seafood boil. You should eat ketchup packets and drink water out the sink. You think you deserve better? Oh, so your hunger matters. But the hunger of your children did not matter. They had enough. They were on your nerves. Get out of my room. Who's whining now? So Cake's in there. Oh, what's Digital Deceivers doing in here? Do y'all not understand that blocking me is pointless? Does it make you feel better? Does it make the people in your chat feel better that you blocked my main account? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. I'm going to still watch you. And I'm still going to talk about it. And Kate, you have a lot of nerve because I haven't said anything about you. And well, that's not true. I did say something about you recently because I know you're lying. And more people from that area have come forward to say you're lying and that you've been doing this for years. And that it's meant for people like you who have nowhere else to go. And that in a lot of those cases, you're not paying the rent. You want to prove me wrong? Prove it. And not to me. Prove it to the people who give you money every single day for a room you don't even sleep in until morning. You stay on here all night long, out in the street. If it's so dangerous, why are you out there hanging out with the very people you say you don't associate with? That you don't do that. People who don't do that aren't out there around it. They're in their room, and then you want to claim you want to do church on Sunday. What qualified you to do church? While you out here on the street doing the absolute most. And let's be clear about something. Unfortunately, her partner died a Christmas ago, but they were living in the exact same place. Two of them together. She likes to talk about the golden days when she was working and had a car and all of this. And all of it fell apart because she broke her foot? That she doesn't want to be put under? Girl, they've gotten better at it over time. But her leg is her moneymaker. And while none of us would want to stand outside in the heat of the night on a corner and beg for money, nowadays that doesn't matter. It's better than going and clocking into a job. If your room was being paid for by the state and you were able to convince people to give you the same amount of money every single night, I don't even hear her ask for food anymore. Maybe she does, but I don't give Cake much attention anymore. For me, she's no different than Maggie, to be completely honest. Until people wake up and realize that this isn't going to change, she's going to come here every day and ask for the same amount of money. There's no nuance to it. It's been proven over and over again that she's lying. But y'all go for it. I'm not even, I have her leg, but it's lymphedema, and we all know that to be the case. She may have broken her foot, but I've also researched that, and a broken foot doesn't lead to lymphedema. I found no evidence of that whatsoever. But just like Maggie running around and getting in everybody's box telling them to keep begging, she's trying to pick up followers. That's what the battlers do. And then they get mad if their beggar, I mean, if their supporter goes to somebody else, but if they pick up somebody's supporter, that's all fair. It's ridiculous. But I hope you think you ate by blocking me. It won't make a difference. And it certainly won't stop my platform in any way, shape, or form. Why don't you focus on getting your act together? Because exposing, dig here, even if she has a job, do you really think that a judge will look at your behavior online and think that's quality? See, this is the thing. They hear your man every once in a while in the background chirping. It's you. And as I said last time, according to you, the father could get the kids as long as you weren't there. And instead of you being the selfless mother that you claim to be and letting him get his kids back, You said no. If we can't have them together, then we're not going to have them. Who does that make sense to? Because it certainly don't make sense to me. If you're worried about where your kids are and getting them back as fast as possible, and let's be clear, they want a handout, not a hand up. If you can't do it for them, then you're of no use to them. And see, when it first happened, she got shocked into a reality that said, I better do something different. She was looking up jobs online, talking about them, asking for advice, the whole shebang, right out the window when she wasn't in that house any longer. But now they were. Claudia, you better be careful because they know that you're there all the time. And they probably have to report how they're paying for X, Y, and Z because that's part of the reason why they lost the kids in the first place. In order to get them back, they have to show that they can afford them. And they still think content creating is going to be adequate. It's not. So every time that hotel gets paid by Claudia, they probably have to report it. Yeah, third shift. But then every time I turn around, she's not working that day. Correct, guy. They're going to want to know from Claudia where you're getting your money from because you don't work either. You hanging out with them and them too much. Y'all be careful. Y'all be careful. Because while you might be, where they clap the two fingers together and tea and we're having a good time and look at us, other people are looking at you too. Don't let them get hit with money laundering. You mobs that love to throw up your payment apps like, I'll do it. Keep on. Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, I'm so happy for your miracle babies. Do they call them rainbow babies? I don't know. Thank you, Colin. I love you, lady. Keep it up. And keep thinking that we're wrong because it hasn't happened yet. Zim said her kids would never be taken. Zim said if she was a bad mother, her kids would have been taken already. And now y'all want to believe it was TikTok? She told us TikTok couldn't get her kids taken. Remember? That she takes care of her kids, that there's food in the refrigerator, they have a roof over their head. But now it was TikTok. Y'all pick a lane. Y'all pick a lane. But I have this question for her people. If you lost your children, would you be on TikTok 24/7? Now, I know some of them are young and dumb, and they absolutely would be, just like her. But any of the adults, the aunties that are in there on this nonsense, or would you be telling yourself or your daughter or your niece, listen, we need to get those kids back. We got to focus on that. And you worried about me dropping in your life. Girl, I should be the least of your worries. Correct. They don't, like, I don't understand what they don't understand about their behavior being on a public platform, which is basically on Main Street, like in the town center square on Main Street. displaying their nonsense for everybody to see. But we need to mind our business? Okay. Well, how about you mind the business that pays you? Oops, that's Claudia. That's Claudia. And the people over there who think that their gifts and that them sending her money directly to her payment apps is going to be what she needs to prove to CPS that she got it. Because you are unreliable. You are an unreliable source of income. Today you give and tomorrow you could lose your job. Then what? You gonna take your unemployment and send it to her too? Are y'all okay? And instead of holding her accountable and saying, listen, enough is enough. We want to focus on getting your family back. Forget everything else. Why are scammers who utilize products that she declares as below her in her chat? I mean, in her box. You rather have cake in there on some nonsense than me telling you, listen, let's focus. You might not like me, but I'm at least going to tell you the truth. But no, you'd rather have cake in there. Well, have at it, boo. Because people who only talk to people who are like minded remain stupid. Where's the growth? If you only talk to people that agree with you, you know that that leads most people to disaster, right? You could see any CEO of any established company, and they will say to you, the best thing for me is to have people on my staff who are not yes men. Because yes men will lead you literally to your own destruction. Literally. Because all they do is say yes. So you have a stupid idea? Yes. You have a bad financial decision? Yes. You want to expand when your company should contract? They say yes. And before long, you don't have the business. A family runs very similarly. The two of you together have made bad decision after bad decision. And while there are people that have tried to help you in your chat, they get demeaned, mocked, muted, blocked so that you have an echo chamber. And everybody in there is saying the same thing. How has that worked out for you? Raw Faith Walk, they don't really. They don't really, because it requires them to do something different, and they're not interested in that. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to still hold people accountable. Now, I have other people to talk about, but I'm going to save it for Wednesday. But I can't leave. Not going live has afforded me the ability to just watch and listen not only to scammers, but to the community at large. I've been able to be in lives I normally wouldn't be in because I'm spending all my time studying the people that I want to come and talk to you about. I'm concerned that we have moved beyond our mission in many different ways. There are people who need to get off the app for sure. But when did that become our mission? That we've decided that you're a scammer and so you need to be off of here. If being on here is wrong for what's going on in their life, fine. But that's not our mission. We will accept somebody who was modding and giving money for months and then hold somebody else accountable for a hand heart. What what is our mission? We are concerned about somebody covering somebody that we're covering. Where is the mission? We are so embroiled in drama that we're having lives about drama and not on the scammers themselves. It's okay, Lumpy Pillows. Thank you guys. Thank you, Silver Swifty. I appreciate it. We are so caught on personality that we've forgotten what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, regardless of who does it. See, when we're not consistent, when we don't have a moral compass, it's based on personality, you lose your objectivity rather. And it's like, I'm going to hold you accountable because I don't like you, rather than is what's happening right for the community or not. See, you come to me, you hear about certain people. You go to somebody else and you hear about somebody different. You go to another person. That was what the community is supposed to be, right? I don't need you to just be beholden to me. I tell you to be careful where you sit because everywhere isn't right. But you make that choice. We have literally jumped, calling out, calling BS, into the drama. We're a part of messy talk more than we're a part of awareness. And just like I say to the scammers, if you're telling us what you need, how much it is, and where to send the money, you're a part of the scammer, beggar, liar, manipulator community. If you are covering the people who are begging for money, you are warning people not to send them money, and you are streaming their lives, you are a part of the community, whether you want to claim it or not. I gave it raising the consciousness. Other people call it a watch party. Other people, I don't care. We're under the same tent. I've always said that. What I can commit here. Wait, what did Catherine Elizabeth say? I missed it. I'm gonna be quiet. Why you gotta be quiet, Catherine Elizabeth? I am going to make the commitment again because I have fallen into the trap more than once. To do my best to stay focused on my purpose. I have to be honest. It used to be a good time. It used to be just about the passion. And now it's dreary. It's like, how much drama am I going to have to deal with today in order to watch scammers and report on it? I was in Kylie like Iker, whatever her name is, her live. And her entire content is another creator, Kanisha, Kanisha, whatever her name is. And she literally tries to act like she's better than another scammer on here. It's like the scammer of the scammer, right? And someone makes in a comment, did you get called out by such and such? And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything in here? And their response was like, oh, I must be right. Sorry, I hurt your feelings. I'm like, if you think so, like, what are we doing? Catherine Elizabeth, in some cases it is. In some cases it is. Not for everybody, but in some cases it is. I'm going to try to remain consistent and stay focused and do my best to stay out of the drama. The mods are going to keep it classy. I mean, we're always going to have somebody. But unless the drama is about me or I find it to be so egregious that I need to talk about it, leave it over there. You got something you need to tell me? Tell me. Send me a message. And if it's urgent, send it to me on Instagram. And then give me the adequate amount of time to look at it. What part of I have a life too? What part of, in order for me to come here 3 days a week and talk to you, I have to watch scammers? I don't literally wake up in the morning and decide I'm going to talk about these five people. How could I have read to you what Ida said if I didn't watch it and write it down verbatim? How could I have told you about an hour and a half live about Karla, somebody that nobody else covers? Nobody has covered her. I know that Scam Slam has made videos, but I haven't seen her brought up in any live if I'm not watching them. And I think if more people stayed out of the drama and focused on giving quality content, we'd be in a better place. Thank you, Natalie. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other quality creators. Obviously, there are. I'm not putting myself. Oh, wait. Catherine Elizabeth. Okay, so if gifts are turned on, then it is. Okay, that's your perspective. I appreciate that. I choose to do it differently. Other people within the community have done more than that. Go look up some tip leaps if you don't believe me. Correct calling BS. But no, let her have her say. If she's a part of the community, she's coming here, let her have her say. But I just hope to see her in the other lives where people are making hundreds of dollars saying the same thing. No, she don't gotta take it behind the scenes. I asked her to say what she had to say. I take the flack for something that other people are doing at a scale that far outpaces mine. When you're getting $1,000 in an awareness live in one night, I think there's a bigger conversation that needs to be had. Thank you, Miss Turtle. And I say at the beginning of every live, gifts are appreciated but not expected. I would do this regardless. And so I realized that there was a feeling of the old guard that was unacceptable. And I appreciate that people still feel that way. But clearly, things are different now. There used to not be watch parties. They were initially created because people were getting blocked. And so if everybody's blocked, we couldn't watch. Now they're completely different and they're everywhere. And people have made a career now out of being a watch party. That's their right. He is still around, but he's not around on TikTok. He came and like did a post and was like, I'm still here. But I am of the ilk that if they're not on here begging in some regular fashion, I leave them alone. Right. Not everybody thinks the same, and that's okay. But I'm staying out of it. Y'all do it however you want to do it. Because I'm not going to let anybody tell me how to do it. So I'm not going to tell anybody else how to do it. I just wish that the people who thought they could tell me how to do it had the same vitriol for everybody. But they don't. Everything evolves. Just remember the person you support has a closet as well. And the question is, are you going to hold them to the same standard that you hold me? Remember something as well. The Creator Rewards Fund has multiple components. One being that you have 10,000 followers. And people automatically think when you get to 10,000 followers, you're in the Creator Rewards program. That's not the case. I've been above 10 for a minute. You have to do videos, and they have to reach a certain number of videos within a 28-day period, I believe it is, to qualify. And then you can make money off of your videos, your views, your shares. You never have to come live and you can make money. So just because somebody isn't live doesn't mean they're not making money. Let's be clear about that. Yes, Sheena does. For somebody who knows the app so well, she is a lost cause. What did Rennie say? Oh, no. They think that I wake up in the morning and just start talking about people, or that I get all my information by watching other people or talking to other people. Do I get information from other people? Thank God I do. They're a blessing, but I do a lot of work on the other end. So with that, I'm gonna end things. I appreciate you guys being here. I'll be putting out the calendar for the month of July. I'll be here on Wednesday. There is a lot, and it's a lot of pressure. It's easy to sit in the gallery and shake your finger at somebody who's doing it. My suggestion is that other people do it. Do it. Go live and try to talk about 9 people in 3 hours exclusively, with nobody getting in the box to help you and no live streaming. Try to do it. With that being said, I'm going to end the live here. I'll be here Wednesday, Lord willing. I have no appointments as of now. I am gonna I am gonna load it to YouTube. I know I got a little lazy there, but I'm gonna load it to YouTube. Okay, Purple. No problem. Amazing Grace, you're funny. I am going to switch off the headphones so that you can hear this. And I literally just chose this song because I was looking for. Can you hear me? No, thank you guys for being here. Y'all put up with a lot in these lives. Okay. I just chose this song because I wanted something to get up. I got stuff to do. I can't go right to sleep, although I want to. I have a couple of things, a couple of phone calls I have to make before my nap. So I just wanted something to wake myself up. Echo, play YMCA.
Here's YMCA by Village People on Amazon Music.
By the way, I just wanted to know, did anybody look up the people enjoying the United States during the FIFA, during the World Cup? It's been amazing. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Give yourself a break from scammers, beggars, and liars, and look up people coming to an America and enjoying it. It'll put a smile on your face, because stuff that we take advantage of, they find absolutely fascinating. There was one that said that the world needed to apologize to America. Oh, really, Princess? Anyway, guys, have a great day. Please hug your loved ones because tomorrow isn't promised. And please, please, please do self-care. Good morning. Oh, you love Messi. Yeah, he scored in 6 World Cups in his life. That's crazy. I hope we're coming together. We could do better and more together than we can apart. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. So I will see you all either in the streets or Wednesday morning. Have a good one.